Hey guys, this is Jason Morris with Real Estate Agents to Really Work. And you know what? I've been thinking about a lot of the conversations I've been having with agents lately, and why they're not doing well, and why some of them are just not doing really anything, and why some agents haven't been successful with expireds for sale by owners, haven't been successful with C buyer, and you know, so I was watching some videos this morning. Every morning when I get up, I usually play something that's kind of motivational, or something like sales related or business mindset related or something, and listen to it while I'm, kind of getting ready for the day to start or drinking coffee or whatever it is. So I'm listening to this morning, and it was Grant Cardone. It was How to Dominate Your Industry, and you know, kind of a light bulb went off that this is right. I don't understand why more agents aren't doing this, and this is the problem most of you guys are having. Most of you guys that are having a problem, this is what your problem is. Okay, 80% of salespeople have no playbook. They have no plan. And these numbers are from Grant Cardone, this thing I was listening to this morning. And I believe that. Think about the agents in your office, the ones that are just kind of roaming around during their day. If you're going to the office, they're showing up to the office, and they're drinking some coffee and hanging out. It's like social time. It's time by the water cooler. What I've learned, over the 12 or 13 years is, man, I got less work done at the office some days, and I'd have got sitting at home at my dining room table because there was so many distractions. There was people to talk to. People were making coffee. They were bringing in donuts. You had mortgage lenders knocking on your door, and the whole time you're trying to talk to somebody on the phone about how you're going to list their house. It's hard to concentrate on the house listing while you got somebody offering you a donut and coffee, um, and wanting to talk about what mortgage product they've got. So, but 80% of salespeople, he says, have no plan. I believe that's probably higher in the real estate industry. I believe probably closer to 90% have no plan. They don't know what they're going to do when they get out of the bed tomorrow and go to work. They're probably going to sit in their pajamas, watch a little news, drink a little coffee, hang out till about 10. Maybe their phone rings and somebody wants to go see something, or they play around on Facebook and pretend they're prospecting, but they never have one conversation about real estate. They're talking about the sports, whatever sports team is playing, or whatever college got a new recruit or whatever, but they have no plan. You know, and the second thing he was saying was 82% of managers have no time for training. And man, that's like a lot of offices. I mean, a lot of the offices out there, you look at it, the broker in charge, the broker in charge, man, he's busy doing broker in charge stuff. He's busy making sure you're legal. You got 10, 20 agents out there, writing a few contracts here and there. He's got to go through those. He's got problems he's got to deal with. He's trying to recruit agents. He's trying to train agents. He's trying to manage the agents he's got. He's trying to deal with the paperwork. He's probably answering the phone. A lot of offices, they probably don't have any staff. And what time does he have to come up with training stuff? I mean, there are brokers in charge, and I get these calls like once a week. They're brokers in charge. They're actually having meetings, and the training portion of the meeting is them listening to my YouTube videos, which is fantastic. But 82% of the offices out there and managers out there, the sales manager or the broker in charge, they have they don't have time to train, and even if they do have time to train, they don't know what to train on, because a lot of them, a lot of your people managing offices out there never sold real estate. They never sold anything. They just got an administrative job, and it's kind of sad. So most of the offices don't do any training. So what that leaves you with is you got to go out on your own, and you got to figure things out, or go to an office that does training. And I'm not talking about, there's a lot of offices too that they do training, but you look at the training schedule, and all of the training costs something, and that sucks too. So they're going to profit off you selling more real estate, but they're going to charge you to teach you how to sell more real estate. That's why it's one of the biggest brokerages here in the country. That's why I'm not a fan of theirs, because they're recruiting all the new agents they can, and then they're selling them a product. They're selling them a training product that costs $800 to $1,000 to teach them how to sell more real estate so that the office can be more profitable. It's the most backwards thing I've ever seen. So are they in the Are they in the business of selling training material? Or are they in the business of selling real estate? And that sucks for a lot of you new agents. If you guys are finding yourself in that situation, you need to message me through Facebook, and we'll talk about what you can do about it. But the next problem that agents are having, and Grant says 52% of salespeople never follow up one time. I believe in the real estate industry, it's more than that. I mean, you think about it, like even a lot of you guys listen to this. How many times have you called somebody? They didn't answer the phone. You left them a voicemail, and you went, "Hey, I left them a voicemail." That's all. 2 weeks went by, and left them a voicemail. I hadn't heard nothing back from them. The thing is, I mean, people get busy. I mean, all of us do it. I do it. There's people that call me and leave messages sometimes, and I don't want to talk to them. It just isn't important, and it isn't an important part of my day, and I'm busy, and the next thing I know, it's 8 o'clock at night, and I forgot about it. And buyers and sellers are like this too. Hey, they want to sell their house. They want to sell their house. They want to sell, whatever it is. And it's important to them, but hey, they got work, they got kids, they got a significant other, and their time's just so stretched that sometimes, hey man, today just ain't a good day to talk to you. So, and it said that he said too that over 90% never follow up more than one time. And a lot of you guys listen to this. The reason I list more property than you do, or most of you, it isn't because that I'm driving the nicest car, I'm the best looking or the best dressed or anything like that. It's because I follow up more than you. I follow up. I mean, my average listing probably comes from between 8 and 12 follow-ups. I called a guy yesterday. Hey, the guy already knew me. I already met him. I already looked at the house. I looked at the house 4 years ago, right? And he goes, man, this week isn't a good week. I got this going on. I got that going on. He told me what all he had going on. I said, well, I tell you what, that's okay. I got kind of a busy week too. When you want me to follow up with you next week? The guy goes, hey, follow up with me about Tuesday. We'll see if we can meet Wednesday or Thursday. That's great. I put it in my calendar. I'm going to follow up with him Tuesday and try to meet with him Wednesday or Thursday. And you know what? If I can't meet with him Tuesday, I'm going to talk to him Tuesday. If I can't meet him Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to follow up with him Wednesday or Thursday and see if I can meet him Friday or Saturday. Or I'm going to say, hey, when's a good time? This week getting good? What about next week? And people are like this. And if for some reason I leave him a voicemail and I don't get him, I'm going to send him a text right afterwards. Just say, hey, Mr. Seller, hey, this is Jason Morris. You want me to follow up with you on Tuesday? You still want to meet Wednesday or Thursday? If I don't hear from that text, I'm going to follow up with him again on Wednesday. I told him we're going to follow up on Tuesday with him. Or we agreed that I'd follow up on Tuesday. And if I don't get him on Tuesday, I'm going to call him on Wednesday because I want him to know, hey, I'm still following up with you. He asked me to follow up. I'm not stalking him. I'm not harassing him. We talked about when's a good time to follow up, and that's a good time to follow up. And it says 90% of agents never follow up more than once. And I bet the agents that leave just 2 voicemails for people, I bet 99% never leave more than 2 voicemails, make 2 calls to the same person. And every now and then I'm guilty of it. Man, I'll talk to somebody, have a great conversation, send them my pre-listing package, and I forget to write it down in my notebook, and I just forget about them. I'm guilty of it. I try to be the best I can at it. I know that's money, So that's crazy. It's crazy, but we're all guilty of that. That's probably the number one problem most of you guys are having. And if you could just follow up enough, you dominate your market. So a lot of these agents going out there making 500 calls a day and 1,000 calls a day, and they feel like they just got to hit these numbers and churn these big numbers using, dialers that are calling 10 lines or whatever it is. These guys, they're never calling the same place over and over again. And it's my belief that if they picked an area like a zip code, if they picked, 5,000 numbers or 10,000 numbers, and took and started hitting those numbers, instead of calling that 100,000 person list, or 250,000 person list that's massive, that's completely untargeted, if they picked an area and just targeted that area, making those cold calls, and following up with those people, calling those neighborhoods, that man, sooner or later, after a few months of them calling that neighborhood once a month or a couple times a month, people they didn't get in touch with, all of a sudden they'd become a household name. Instead of taking that 100,000 people you're calling this quarter, narrowing it down to 10,000 people that you make 10 calls to over the next 3 months. I mean, I think that's going to, I think that's going to benefit you a lot more. And targeting that audience and really narrowing that down, all of a sudden you're going to become, a household name. They're going to see your sign go up down the road and go, man, guy Jason Morris, he called me 2 or 3 times asking me if I knew anybody to sell my house. He must be selling stuff like crazy. Saw 2 signs in my neighborhood right now. So I really believe that if you took and narrowed down your cold calling activities, or if you're using Red X and using GeoLeads, if you narrowed down that instead of looking to call the entire zip code, just call the communities that you're really interested in selling property in and just farm those communities over the phone, you're going to do a lot better and you're going to dominate that area. You mix that with some Facebook ads and some mail and stuff, you got a solid plan versus calling 100,000 people, So the other thing you said was 65% of salespeople's time is spent on non-sales related activities. Man, I see that in the real estate business all the time. We feel like we got to be good at everything. We got to get on the phone a little bit. We got to do open houses some. We got to do a little bit of a blogging. We got to go to the office for, whatever it is. Then we got to go on the office's caravan and we got to do all this stuff. And then next thing you know, you're spending all your time doing just stuff, but you're not selling stuff, And that's I believe some agents, I believe it's more than that. I believe, there are some offices where agents get caught up in training. And a lot of new agents especially, they get caught up in training, but they never get caught up in doing. And I'm a big trainer. I believe you got to constantly be learning and you got to constantly listen to stuff and you got to constantly think about put good stuff in your mind so good things will start coming out. But there are agents that get caught up in training and they're doing non-productive training. They're spending 4 hours listening to stuff and try to use really like Snapchat. I think you guys probably listened to my video the other day. Our demographics aren't on Snapchat. If you need to sell something in the next 30 days, 45 days, and you've exhausted your sphere of influence, your next sale is probably not going to come from Snapchat. Now, Instagram, I don't know about Instagram. It could come from Facebook ads. If you need to sell something in 30 days, but the best way that it's going to come, you can do all the Facebook ads in the world you want to do, but if you don't pick up the phone, call people, follow up with people and stuff, they aren't going to buy anything from you because chances are they filled out a form on your website, but they also filled out a form on 10 other websites. And they are buying from the agent that followed up with them the most, that they connected to, that they feel like provided the most value. They're not working with the guy they filled out the form with, 3 weeks ago that's on auto send and they never talked to one time. That person probably is not going to get their business. You can do, but yeah, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Google ads, all that stuff, you can do all of that you want to do. But if you never actually follow up with people and call them, it's going to be a waste of time. But you need to look at what activities you're doing. And if you're spending half your day every single day, in these training classes and stuff, you need to look at like what do you need to get going and what things can you cut out that are just wasting time for you. You know what I mean? If you're doing open houses, for me, instead of spending that, and by the time you set up signs, by the time you door knock the neighborhood, put out flyers, and everything you need to do to go into an open house, a 3-hour open house on Saturday, you're going to spend 6 to 8 hours doing it. Okay. That same 6 to 8 hours on Saturday, man, I'd rather hit the phones because I can basically roll up out of bed, brush my teeth, and I can get on the phone and start calling and never leave my house. And I can make the most impact with the least amount of effort. Instead of an 8-hour open house or 8 hours worth of time at open houses, I could probably spend 3 or 4 hours on the phone and get more leads, better contacts, chances of getting more listings. And I mean, there are agents that are doing amazing jobs doing open houses, but that's for me. Look at what things can you cut out, that are just you're just spinning your wheels and wasting time on that are not, it's not leading to sales, and you'll become more productive. But and most agents, we all need leads, and if you're finding yourself in a position where you're not hitting you're not on track. I mean, we're about to finish up third week of 2017, and if you're not on track to hit your goals, you need to go and figure it out pretty quick because you're almost a month behind. And I mean, a month behind, you can pick that back up. Once you get 2, 3 months behind, 4 months behind, man, it's tough to pick things up from there. But most of you, whatever problem you're having, if you're having a financial problem, the prop or really whatever it is, if you're having a financial problem, that problem can be fixed by selling more real estate, by getting more listings, by getting more calls off signs, by having more signs out in people's yards. To talk. The business is easy, man. If you want to talk, if you want to do more seller business, you need to talk to more sellers. If you want to do more buyer business, you need to talk to more buyers. So I mean, whatever problem you're having with your goals, you can fix it. You just need to talk to more people. If you're not hitting the numbers you want to hit, you need to talk to more people and you need to follow up more. You're probably talking to enough people. Some of you, you're just not ever following up with those people. So, but that's the thing. I mean, this is a business that you can't save your way to being successful in it. You have to have lead sources, and you have to have smart lead sources. I typically I use RedX. I use RedX for for sale owners and expireds, and I think that's one of the best values right now in our industry. And I use Z buyers, and I look at Z buyers and I look at direct mail. Like, I'm not a big fan of direct mail. I mean, I could spend $200 or $300 doing direct mail. It's pretty much going to cost you $1 a mail piece.